DG Lovelies, again. So I'm so happy that you're here for this amazing conversation today. I just really wanted to take a moment and say that, this is what Diversity Geek is here for. It's to be able to bring you the opportunity to hear from the lovelies in the world who are champions for self-awareness, for self-acceptance, for positive self-image, self-esteem, and for a universal understanding of diversity. And I really feel like we've been able to bring that to you today. And then, focusing on transforming the positive action, positive aspects of fandom into positive action. So I'm just going to come up with 2 questions, and I'm going to let you answer whichever one you feel more comfortable with. So, in our lifetimes, we're all here and we're nerds for a reason, right? Something has been influential in our life and has really had a positive impact on us, enough to move us in this journey towards not just embracing that geek, but really expressing it every day. So do you have a fandom story or character, show of any kind, or a piece of music, a composer, or a piece of art that just completely touched you and connected to you so much so that it's, helped you to move along in the journey? And then, if not that question, have you had an experience with fandom, and with your own experience being in the industry or being a fan yourself, that you feel has been influential in changing who you are and could possibly, help someone else who's listening to us today? So I'll let you answer either of the 2 that you feel like going with.
I'll kick it off. Mine, it's real easy because it's my mother's fault. When in doubt, blame your mother. You know her. My mother's the one who introduced me to my very first fandom, but I didn't know what it was called. I didn't. My mom sat with me in 1979, I think it was, Star Trek, on TV, obviously the reruns. And my mom's like, here, you gotta watch this. Why? Just trust me, you'll like it. Why? Just watch it, would you? This went on for a while. And it's just like, it was one of those cool, different places, different things, women doing something other than, it was a lot of that. And in an odd way, it wound up influencing me, because then I started asking a bunch of different questions about how things worked. And then I wound up having a very interesting conversation with my grandfather. My grandfather used to build airplanes a long time ago, and he used to put things together and whatnot. And between that conversation, my mom's like, oh yeah, and I used to do this. And, well, you're my mom, you don't do stuff. In my case, it brought it all forward, because ultimately in my other career, aside from being an editor, I'm a computer engineer. Mm-hmm. So in an odd way, I became Scotty.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, I didn't understand it until I started doing it. I'm like, oh good God.
Captain, it can take no more.
I can't remember this, but I did.
But I live here, I'm crystals, can't take any more.
And it's one of those things of, I get teased all the time, but Amy, but you're a big fan of Star Wars. I'm like, yeah, but that's not where it all came from.
Yeah, Scotty also talked to a lot of people that say, how long is this going to take?
Yes.
It's going to take a month and a half. It was done in 5 minutes. It's like, I'm the miracle worker now.
Hey, basic project
And
management
we've all
101.
used that, and we've all used that
set
one.
expectations.
And we've
Yes.
all used that one.
Yeah.
The big life lessons of Scotty.
Yes.
Well, I mentioned how my parents, my father in particular, and my grandmother were big geeks. When I was a little girl, Wonder Woman, I ran around the house in my underwear yelling about Wonder Woman. But my real first fandom, and that also is going to answer the both questions, it was anime. In particular in Mexico, the anime called Nobody's Boy, Remy, was very famous. It's based on a French book about a little boy who is sold to a traveling actor and suffers a lot because it's a French book. But the thing is that the traveling actor always told the boy to keep walking forward, and that a man cannot call himself a man until he has learned to fend for himself. Those were the 2 big lessons of the anime. When I grew older, I got a chance to interview the voice actor. We hit it up very well because the man who unfortunately passed away, Maynardo Zavala, who was also Superman's voice, was very nice. Anyway, I didn't pass my first test to get into Mexican college. I completely flunked it despite the fact that I have studied the hell out of it. Next year I said, okay, let's try this again. But I didn't study. I was so let down with my first attempt that I was like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to answer whatever. And suddenly I'm in the line waiting for entering the room when I hear, kid you not, Mr. Vitalis, the foreign actor voice behind me. You studied, right, my child? And I turn around, and there he is, the voice actor, who looked a little bit like the character, looking at me. He was there for his daughter, who was also on this test. And I'm like, yes. And he goes, well, because I want to see you in college. Make me proud. So I'm there in the test, writing my answers, going, you can't disappoint Mr. Vitalis. You can't disappoint Mr. Vitalis. Always go forward. I passed. I was one of the 10 hikers. So that is my fandom. It's very small fandom outside Mexico, but it's also my motto, and the message I will give to other people. Always keep walking forwards, and remember, you cannot call yourself a grown-up until you have learned to fend for yourself.
And
That's great.
Because
Actually, that's great.
amazing.
be true to
Nicely
who you
done.
are. Be true to who you are. Once you figure out
That's
who that
amazing.
is.
And always forward.
See, for me, it was a mix of superheroes and universal monsters. Because I saw the Wolfman for the first time, and Dracula and all that, and it just didn't hit with me, but I saw the Wolfman, and I felt terrible for him. And then remember, he's only a part-time monster. It's only like 3 or 4 days of the week, so on and so forth. But he couldn't control himself. And I started getting fascinated with the fact about the inner beast that we all are, that this creature come out, because I found out that a vampire can't stop a werewolf. Nothing stops a werewolf. And it got fascinating to me that this could be either uncontrollable or this could be a great force for good. And that's where I kind of came up with Bubba after that, because I sat there and said he can be protective. And then shows like Beauty and the Beast came on. You started realizing that this creature can be tamed, and he can actually tame himself and use this for good because he's unstoppable. He's that one thing you can go to, nothing can stop him. And who doesn't want to be that unstoppable, but still have a soul? And it was the one thing I loved about it, because they used to always say he felt so bad for the Wolfman because poor tragic creature. So I decided to create one that wasn't tragic and actually empowered him. And I have found through fan mail and other things, I found that people who are transgender, people LGBT, kids are being bullied. They dress and wear their Bubba hats. They put on their Bubba, and they feel they're being saved by Bubba. They become like Bubba. So I finally created something that I actually brought back into it. As for myself personally, I'm the biggest Flash geek you ever met in your whole damn life.
Yes.
He
Yes,
was
he
thin,
is.
he was a scientist, he was brilliant, he could run rings around all the rest of the heroes, he beat Superman a couple of times. Let me tell you something, he beat Superman. That convinced me right there, that was cool. But you know, like I said, we all have our fandom that gets to us, but I started running track in high school, I started just really getting into more athletics. And I enjoyed it because also I could be scientific, I could give it to my geek side, my science side, I got into audio engineering, a lot of other things. But it was really kind of cool because this guy was a scientist who's also a hero. And that was kind of neat.
You guys have me emotional. I'm hiding it well. I'm about to bubble over now.
Bring it
Now
on.
we're
Alright.
going to serial killer.
And now
So-
it all goes sideways. Let's all stand,
Here,
everybody turn
hold
like
this.
this.
You're gonna
Everybody
need
go
it.
like this.
No.
Lean in towards me. No, lean in towards me.
No. So
Okay, ready to go.
Go for
All
it.
right.
No,
So I'm a multi-fandom geek. I have Harry Potter. I grew up reading comics and watching superhero movies and watching the old Supermans and Batmans where they were Clark with George Reeves and watching
yeah. God,
with
yeah.
Adam West and stuff. So I grew up watching those and sneaking out in the middle of the night. Sorry, Mom. To watch TV
There's an
late at
admission.
night with the volume really low down. And when I figured out how to do subtitles, it was great. And I would put a towel in front of their door so they wouldn't see the light. Sorry, Mom. So sorry. And I would watch the late night horror movies and Elvira.
I did that
So I'd see like the really scary stuff and all the Hitchcocks and things, and then the Universal monsters. And then Elvira would come on, or Ghoulia Childs at some points. And then
God, yeah.
sci-fi stuff would come on, the old 50s movies. And
it was that stuff. Sorry, Mom. And I would go into that, and I would read all the books and stuff I could, because when I found out there was such a thing as banned books, after they would sit in school and try to shove them down our throats, I was like, where's the good stuff? So I'd get a list of the banned books, so I could go find them at the public library and check them out. It's the best reading list ever. And the fun part was, from year to year, sometimes the banned books from one year, when I would switch schools, would be the reading list the next year. And that was beautiful, because one of the first ones was my favorite book for up until I read Lamb. My favorite book was Fahrenheit 451, which was on the banned list and my reading list one year at the same time.
Now that's awesome.
And of course that would be banned, but
Yeah.
so mine was that it was a little bit of everything, and it still is. But what it is it kind of influenced me, because my mind went to, well, someone wrote this, someone created these worlds, someone created these characters, and I would bond to the characters because I always loved vampires, sorry, but I liked Wolfman too, but mine was, these are
We can all get
characters
along in a
who
superhero.
usually made a choice that this life would be better, and they almost always regretted it. And they had to sacrifice so much, and I always thought, this is interesting why they would do that, because I got bullied a lot, because I was weird. I still am.
In the best way possible.
And thank you.
You're wonderfully beautiful.
But
All the goofing aside, yes.
But I looked at it and I said, how would these work in real world? So I'd be like, oh, zombies, well, how could that work? And I would look up random stuff. And vampires, how would they work? And I formed theories. And, well, if this was true and that was true, then it could do that. And, well, how does this magic work? Well, it has to work with this, and I would try to develop it, and then I would get into role play games, and I would incorporate that. And it just made me feel, I guess empowered is the right word for it, because I had grown into an understanding of why people did things, the psychology of it, the sociology. I took those classes
And
in
this
college.
is why you write.
Because,
That's why you're right.
yeah, and I wish I could go back and stop having been really stupid, because whenever I would get teased too much, one of the things I would do is try to tear up or throw away a lot of the stuff. So I have, first off, there's so many comics I could bring back, but I have stacks of notebooks and stories that I stopped for halfway through, where I tore up, or that got taken and thrown away on my behalf in school
Hey,
or
Melissa?
after school.
Throw them a Stephen King book.
I was going to say, congratulations. You are the pinnacle of geekdom.
But-
You are the pinnacle of what it was all about. Actually, you are the perfect end product of all that.
Well,
Congratulations.
The best end product
What's
is
that?
I've actually had something fun happen. I have looked through, and thanks to social media, I have seen some of my actual bullies are fans of my books. And I've had the best moment of
Congratulations. Here, you get the
No,
whole
no,
this.
no,
No,
no. I've had the best karmic balance in the world. I had about 4 years ago.
That's the best way to get even.
I
at it.
had one of my bullies contact me middle of the night through Facebook to say they were sorry because their kid was getting bullied, and now they understood the effect it had, and they realized that when they didn't realize they'd ever actually been bullied me until their daughter started saying what had been getting done, and it's like, well, why? It's like, well, that's mean, that's bullying. They made me feel horrible. That's why I quit this. That's why I quit doing that. And he understood now that was bullying. That was horrible effect, and it was breaking his daughter's heart. She quit things she was passionate about, and that was why she was so sad. And she's a little girl. And I was like, I appreciate you making that apology. Talk to her. Tell her it gets better. Tell her, you know what? Tell her that the person you bullied forgives you and is happy now and tell her to go back to those passions. She's going to love it one day.
Okay, that's it.
And it's not happened but once in my life.
Perfect.
But one person ruined
I was there.
because
That's it.
his daughter's
Mic drop,
geeky.
right? Everybody
Melissa?
ready?
1, 2,
2, 3.
3. Mic
Mic
drop.
drop.
Nisha, I think it's a good place for you to close this.
Yep, absolutely. I couldn't have asked for anything more than what we just got. This was just, DG knows that I'm an emotional wreck. Everyone knows me. I feel everything and it comes out like this.
Group
So
hug.
I'm like amazed that I'm sitting here like not streaming tears. So
It's okay, Geek Mom.
So, I mean, Melissa knows that I created this organization with my daughter in order to make a change, to be able to help people who are suffering such personal turmoil and pain because that mental dysfunction leads to so much tragedy in life. And we want we really truly do want as a human race to have people be happy and joyful. We don't want people to be tragic. We don't want people to suffer. We truly don't. But sometimes we don't know how to help. And I thought, okay, this is a great way to help. And that's the reason I ask lovelies like you to come, because you will give that message to our folks out there. And I can tell you for a fact, and Melissa knows, that we've had more than you can imagine reach out to us through social media who have been suicidal, who have been bullied, who have no idea what direction to take, who have no idea how to work with their families or deal with their families. And I will do one-to-one time with them as much as I can possible. We'll get them involved in a Diversity Geek project. We'll do something so that their life has so that they understand their life and they understand their purpose
And
in
I
this
understand
world.
they're not alone, and that it is
And that
perfectly
they're not
fine
alone
to
and
ask
it's fine.
for help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are
all
people who will be
Please.
happy to help. In the middle of the night, I have plenty of friends who know they can message me at 3 and 4 in the morning, and
I have someone who's done it.
I also know
Yep.
I also know in the middle of the night I can message and say, hey, or I can say, hey, I need some help today. Don't let me do
You
this.
know, and this
Most
is the
of my
thing.
friends know that I am online all the time.
Same here.
So
Same
no
thing.
matter what,
Always.
What did I say?
I'm there.
The empathetic nature of the geek culture.
Yeah,
I didn't say it
That's the point.
lightly. It is the truth.
If you
Yes.
can't be a
Well-
hero, find one, and you can be that hero by
Yeah.
saving yourself, by calling someone else.
Well,
Exactly.
And that makes you a hero as well.
And a lot of it is, I think, because a lot of the geekdom has kind of been a lot of pressure to don't be that. Everyone kind of is more empathetic because you understand what it's like to be told,
No.
you're weird, you're wrong. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm happy. I'm me. Screw off.
Yeah,
But
there-
because you get told that, you understand, hey, you're too skinny. You need to put meat on your bones, or you shouldn't wear this, or why are you reading this, or why are you arguing about Star
Right.
Trek and Star Wars? That's weird.
grow
but
up.
Why do you
all-
have
oh,
all
yeah.
these toys in your office?
Oh yeah,
Not.
grow why not? But here's the
And-
thing.
and that's the
At the end of the day-
answer. Why not?
I understand.
Why not? And who is it hurting? Who is it hurting? If you
Just
don't
enjoy.
understand it, it's okay.
Let's
You-
go
it's
Just
fine.
enjoy.
Welcome to 2018.
Again,
it's
It's
okay.
fine. It's okay. So
Unapologetically yourself. That's
Yes.
my motto
Preach.
now.
Agreed.
Be unapologetically yourself.
that's correct.
Agreed.
That's perfect.
That's beautiful.
And our next campaign, which I really would love you guys to be on, we have the We Just Start campaign. One day we'll that's actually what we ended up talking about today. It's about living a world without labels. We just are. So, in
we were talking about
existence
that
without
earlier.
labels. So then the next one that we are heartfully going to be working on, hopefully with some folks that we met today, is I am geek, I am me.
Oh, I
Good.
like that.
So it's
I
like that.
we
Yeah,
will
me
definitely
too.
be explaining that a little bit more as we work along, my lovelies, and I want you to know that you're all welcome to be part of that mission and that movement, because this is what we want it to be. We want the I am geek, I am me to be a movement of self-expression and self-acceptance and self-value. So I will definitely let you know a little bit more, and I'm sure
Please.
you guys will want to be part of this, because
fun.
I
Strength
can
in
tell
numbers,
from
this
this,
is
and
great.
yes.
Lots of
So
editing.
I know, oh my God. So we definitely wanted to share something that I experienced this weekend. In listening to you guys, I've had an epiphany this weekend. They happen to me often, but this was a beautiful one. It hurt. Not my brain hurt. No.
Hang on, back down the rabbit hole. Here we go.
Yeah.
Don't let you finish.
So we were at the Warner Brothers panel, and most of my lovelies know that I'm a massive, massive, massive kaiju fan.
Ooh.
I may not look it, but I am.
I got no problem with that.
Oh, yeah? So I have, for as long as I can remember, I've actually written pieces to explain the relevance of Godzilla, of Gojira. And we created a world in which, a toxic world in which he was created. He was born from that toxicity.
Right.
So he's a being that is born with an anger. He's born with an angst. He's born with a suffering. But depending on the writer, there's a choice in whether or not they write him as violent, innately violent or whether he's reactively violent. And I am a 7-year-old kid understanding that message. And for me at that time, because it was 60s going into 70s, everyone is aware of how socially, culturally irrelevant it was to our world at the time. And so I have always had a huge passion for the monsters that came from the Gojira fandom and from Kaiju fandom, which is why I love Pacific Rim so much to today. So we're sitting in the Warner Brothers panel yesterday morning, and I don't know, but this thing happened as I was watching the trailer for Godzilla. And I am watching this unfolding of this show that I could never have imagined. Because so far nothing has really impressed me when it comes to the retelling of Godzilla. Because I don't know what it was, but I couldn't connect, although I loved it. But my daughter will tell you that I was unconsciously punching her in her arm.
I can attest.
And I was streaming tears down my eyes. And I had sat through most everything that had been in this Warner Brothers panel was something that was close to me, dear to my heart, and a fandom that had been part of my existence and influential on me. But this one made me feel transformed. And I sat there and I said, what in God's name is happening to me? Wow, what is this? And when you see the trailer, you will totally understand what I'm saying. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you see the unfolding, when you see the movement that the director takes in the elevation, and then the reveal, and then Mothra, and then Rodan, and you're like, what is this? I felt for the first time in my 50 some odd years that a fandom, this is what I told my daughter, that a fandom, that what I imagined as a child was being put on a screen.
They finally got it right.
They got it right.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, Wonder Woman is my be all end all. So what Patty did,
Oh, hell yeah.
what else is there for me to say?
Hell yeah.
But what happened that I sat there and watched this and I said, I feel like after how many years that we've given ourselves a license to be able to exist in that passion to the extent that we can now, it's now visually transformative, it's auditorily transformative, that it's physically transformative, it's in the literary sense transformative, that we can now, we are now a new generation of people who have completely become transformed and metamorphized through our fandom passions. And in that moment, that's what I felt. Can you imagine sitting and watching that trailer that is what I felt? But it was. So that is what I'm imagining all of us are trying to bring to the world, right? That's why we're in this industry, because we know that there's a mission and a message in what we do.
Of course.
And look at what you're doing is just the epitome of that.
You didn't say that.
So I definitely would like all of you to give us an update of where you are right now, what you're doing, what projects you're working on. So take it away, my darlings.
Actually, let's do it that way simply because what I do equates with what he does.
Ta-da! Okay, let's go.
Yay, spotlight.
Yeah. Your favorite.
Melissa Gibbo here still. I'm mostly just working on my next couple of books. Some serial killers, some werewolves, a little bit of chaos and fun.
Vampires?
No vampires right now.
Oh no! Okay, I quit.
Wait. Not for the books. For the comic.
It's a book.
For the comic is separate. I was
I love
getting
when
there.
people argue with themselves. Look at this. This is great.
Nothing new around here.
For the novels,
Okay, brother.
I'm working on a werewolf story and I'm working on a serial killer story because I have an attention span issue and this keeps me going on something every day. I'm also working with Ada and Mandy Gordon on a comic book involving some lovely vampire fun in a very cheesy 80s style way.
Yee.
Thank you.
You're
Couldn't
welcome.
tell me we're doing Gem and the Holograms with vampires.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and you had to say it right now.
Well, just I remember,
More or
I remember
less.
where this
Just
came
saying.
from. and-
More or less.
There are no secrets here, folks. This is a
No,
very
I
intimate
have to
family.
remind
I know,
you
I know.
About Obey
Yes.
Como Ba.
Yeah, I know. It's also partially my fault. So.
Every como goes.
I'm
Anyway,
on
Yes, there you go.
Social media
I'm-
sites, honey. How do we find you?
I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I answer all of them pretty quickly. You literally just Google my name, last name Gibbo, and first name Melissa. You will find me.
as for me, I have a new Bubba coming out from Creature Entertainment. It should be out in the next month or so. I have a second anthology coming out from it's a derivative of my first novel, Hitmen for Horror, involving my characters Vinny and Mook, who are two retired mafia hitmen who get involved now with nailing supernatural things, and they're getting frustrated because they just don't want to die easy.
And they're adorable.
They're a lot of
fun.
fun.
Yes.
The thing is, now they've developed family, friends, and so we're calling the next book Family and Fiends. It should be out soon on Amazon. As
Makes
far
it
as
harder.
Bubba is now looking at going further, possibly film episodic. I've been up in LA. I've been talking to the studios, the UCS to the studios, and we're discussing that and some other projects that I have. Plus, I'm now looking south of the border to get a couple of projects done because I met some really cool filmmakers when I did the panel this week. So we're gonna talk to some folks down, let's just say Mexico way, and see what happens.
Tell the
Thank
story
you, Autumn.
before they build that wall.
There is no
Okay.
wall. I'm gonna build a ditch and throw a
Okay,
few
no.
people in it. That's a long story. That's what I got Vinny Mook for.
And your social media, sir?
Oh, and if you want to find me, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I have a new website, www.themitchhyman.com.
And he also has a YouTube channel.
And I have a YouTube
yeah,
channel where you can see my
okay.
other character, Satan, which is from the movie, where I do coffee time with Satan. Not recommended for the children, but recommended for anybody who's just, let me put it this way. Satan basically tells the world, you're all being a bunch of goofballs, straighten up. And if you're coming to me for help and advice, you're really screwed up. Let's get this right.
Well, I'm Adalisa Zarate. I'm from, as I said, I'm from Mexico, so I'm going to do the bilingual thing. Right now, I'm working on writer's block, which is the story of God as a single father. It is very hard to control creation when you have 6 teenage archangels, all demanding your attention, and your siblings are the horsemen of the apocalypse. That is written by Mandy Gordon. I am also working on my poor, innocent, suffering magical boy who keeps turning into a girl even if he doesn't want to, Dreamkeeper Robin. We are going to the 4th issue now, and well, pretty soon the Bumper Girls with Melissa and Mandy, and another project that I'm working with Amy about a little slice of 50s nostalgia, and that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Now, Spanish. Estoy trabajando en Writer's Block, Bloqueo de Escritor, que es la historia de Dios como padre soltero, porque es muy difícil controlar la realidad cuando además tienes a 6 ángeles adolescentes en su época emocional y tus hermanos mayores son los jinetes del apocalipsis. También trabajo en Dreamkeeper Robin, que es la historia de mi pobre y sufrido chico mágico que sigue convirtiéndose en mujer aunque él no quiere. Un proyecto de chicas vampiro con Melissa y Mandy, y además un futuro proyecto con Amy sobre un poco de nostalgia de los 50s. For now, the comics are only in English, but I am working on the Spanish translation. Por lo pronto, los cómics son solamente en inglés, pero estoy trabajando en la traducción en español. And my social media are in Facebook. You can find me as Adalisa Z, ADALESAZ. I think, if not, please write it on the description of the video, because my parents hated Starbucks baristas. Or you can find me on Instagram as Lookshine Draws, Twitter and Tumblr as Lookshine. I'm always there, and you can find my comics on Tapas.
And that Lookshine is Luxshine.
He is much better spelling than I am.
Hey, my
the
Spanish
writer
is getting
thing,
better
though.
though. I understood
Like a
everything
writer.
you said
They're
earlier.
liar.
You
Yeah,
have
right
heard me
there.
say
Yeah,
that like
I
all
understood all of
week.
it. That was so good.
Thank you.
And last but never least, I'm Amy Zunk. I joke, I'm the wrangler for all these guys. I'm their editor, I'm their paperbook person, I'm there doing the paperwork, I'm the go get coffee. Yeah, I'm the one that they call for help. And pretty much what I'm working on right now, I love you too. Pretty much what I'm doing right
Suck
now,
up.
always, is I am working with.
She likes me more.
She likes you better than me anyway. It always is like that.
That's a whole
I
other
get
thing.
you,
She edits her stuff before mine. She goes, I gotta get to edit first. I'll get to yours after.
Yeah, children, play nice.
Yes.
Anyway, what I'm working on is I'm working with Mitch and I'm helping him edit his new Vinny and Luke novel when it comes out. I'm working with him on the new Bubba Productions. I am actually a character on Coffee Time with Satan. I actually am Lilith, so I'm the one who gets to wrangle him. And when I'm not doing all that, I am lending my editing talents to helping this fine young lady here with this project that we're working on. And if anyone else needs help, easy enough to find. I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and whatnot. Just look for Amy Robin, actually. I use my middle name because my last name people go, what?
I should have done that, but I do not have a middle name. And knowing my parents, it would have been Leia.
Look at
That
me.
could just
I got a middle. I got
It's
a middle
never
name. It's
too
just an
late.
initial.
Ada, you can put it on anytime you want to.
There you go.
I kind of want to because I was born on the year of Star Wars.
I think you should do it.
Yeah,
Go
you're
ahead
right.
and do it.
I'm changing my name to Adalisa Leah Zarate Perzuaca.
There you go.
Why not?
There it is. Perfect.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect. A perfect
new identity
way.
and everything.
Perfect.
Oh, one word of caution though on Coffee Time with Satan. No one under 18. It's
Yeah.
very offensive. It's very throwback to the 70s. We make fun of a lot of things, including ourselves, religion, and everything else in between. So just a word of caution. It'll wake you right up. You'll enjoy that. Then forget it. They'll have fun.
A basic disclaimer is no one's friend.
Okay. So, on
Nice
that
Buffy
note,
reference.
oh my god.
That was a Buffy reference.
Was
Yeah,
it
it
a
was.
reference?
That was
Yes,
a
it
Willow.
was.
It was a
Yes, it
willow.
was.
We caught it. See, geeks.
got
See,
it. We
The
got
geek-
it.
the geeks
I
got it.
understood that reference.
Yes. Oh, lovely
And with that-
Castiel.
Nisha?
We broke her.
Yes, they broke me. No, they did not. Do you not see how calm and composed I am at this moment? Oh
Don't
my
try
god.
that.
Wait 5
And there's no
minutes.
blushing on
You
here.
ever see a swan gliding across the lake and the legs are going like, because you're not shooting any lower, you see your legs like this. It's like, wow.
You have no idea what's going on under here.
It's two-step and three-time.
Anyway, my lovelies, thank you so much for joining us on this absolutely raucous and hilarious and just pure fun episode of Diversely Geek Discusses, and dare I say also an episode of my geek universe, because really I kind of brought them all together today to share
Thank you.
everything with you.
We appreciate it.
And I am just so super honored to have had such a lovely group of my friends and fam. And guys, just remember, stay happy, stay joyful, be true to yourself, and remember that we love you here from Diversely Geek, and we will see you again at our next episode. And we will be having San Diego Comic-Con. We will be having a San Diego Comic-Con wrap-up episode coming up with Melissa and with the Nerdy Chat. Probably coming to you next week, I hope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah!
The answer is nod and smile and go, uh-huh.
Yeah, looks like everybody's been surprised. You got here on the moment.
No,
All
I
right.
remember being told about this a few times and told not to forget.
So of course you did. All right, nothing normal. We're
Just
good.
Yeah.
smile and nod, Melissa, smile and nod.
There you
Smile
go.
and nod.
All cute and cuddly,
Okay,
boys.
everyone, let's
Yes.
wave at the DJ Lovelies.
Bye.
Spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers.
Those
Okay.
were too many
Okay, Mom.
references
Come-
in one
Quit
sentence.
texting me. You can come pick me up, okay? No. Okay.
Did she
that sounds really-
did she
no.
steal a police van
No,
again?
she's really good, but she found out that the Jack in the Box has Universal Monster toys. I gotta go.
Da 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 da.
Da.